Hello everyone, welcome back to Tier 2 Talk on ReTr00 Dweg. As always, this time joined by the Kings of UKCS once more. We'll go with that to begin with. Of course, it's biscu and arTisT. There's a lot of giggles, and there will be throughout today's stream, gents. First and foremost, how you both doing?
Tom, you start. Go ahead. How do you feel?
I don't know. Mixed emotions, I guess. I don't know. It's been a long week. I don't even know how to feel.
Yeah, I second that.
Yeah? Is that what we're
Yeah.
going with? Yeah,
Good start. We like that. Yeah.
just that.
It's
Alright.
been a really strange week. It has been a very strange week for us. I've took a very hard loss at LAN to temper it. Obviously it's a great moment for them. I was quite happy to see them to win as well because I could see how much it meant to each and every one of them. You know, they were buzzing, and I remember what that felt like when we won in Malta. It was like pure ecstasy. So obviously I'm quite happy for them, but yeah, it was really strange. We had to ask ourselves some very serious questions, like how have we allowed that to happen, for example. So yeah, no, it's been strange, especially considering that like we took action and changed the roster, and our fortunes have seemingly changed overnight. It's a bit strange. Don't really know how else to characterize it at the moment.
We can get into the details maybe a little bit later for those at home listening or watching, Josh, as we'll probably come up to that in the finished events and have a little chat with the lads about that there. First things first, we always open things up with a Q&A session. If anyone has any questions at home, maybe you're watching it on stream live, you can just drop it in the Twitch chat. I can read them, reel it off to the lads obviously here. And then Josh, we have some prepared of our own that we can ask the lads, and of course we'll try and make it as informative as possible and have a bit of a joke of a laugh with the Q&A. Josh, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. So firstly, what's it like playing in such a competitive tier 2 space these days? I mean, obviously, I would say the most recent months, you guys probably haven't been on HLTV as much as other times. But what's it been like for like this entire year, as an example?
Yeah, this year's been so crazy for us. Like, it's been so like we've had highs and then we've had really low lows. So it's like, I mean, we were one game off Premier at one stage. We've won two lands, or two lands, one
And
land.
this year, just one LAN this
Just
year.
one. So, but like, I think between January and April, like people had university exams and other commitments, so we could barely put in too much time. And this was when we had Volt still in the lineup. And then we had like this miracle run in Premier, and like we're just thinking like this is unbelievable. We beat fours and a BO3, like that's gonna be my crown jewel until I die. Ticking down Jerry, like. But like then like after that, it just went. And then I think right after that, that was the first iSeries in April, and then we lost to iSeries or Into the Breach with Smoo and Thomas. And then once again we choked that. We had a map up in the best of five final. But I don't know, we couldn't capitalize on the day. We had no energy. Like I don't really want to give excuses. They just owned us. Smoo is just unbelievable. Then after that, Seb, Volt, he goes to Fnatic Rising. We're quite not sure what to do with the roster. So we fit around. We kind of look at some other players who to pick up. But like the entire year as a whole, like we've had a really high and then it's like really low. So it's really inconsistent year, I think.
I guess another thing as well is player break is obviously a very good portion of time for a lot of players to just chill, get out of the server and not grind all the officials. What was it like for the entire team over the player break? Was it? I mean, obviously you guys have got players with uni and other commitments as well, but was there much happening in the player break?
No, virtually nothing got done for us in the player break. We actually foresaw that the player break was going to be like somewhat open for things to happen for us. So when we initially made the roster moves after we lost Seb and Javi from the roster, or Ping, excuse me, we thought that we would have a lot of time before a season started or any like official started to build something, but it wasn't actually there because this person was on holiday and that it didn't overlap with this person's holiday, and it sort of, it was really quite actually sparse for how many things that we got to play, times we got to play. So actually barely anything got done, and then the start of the season was upon us, and then obviously we had other extenuating factors stopping us from playing with each other. For example, Tom was in the hospital for a period of time, so that stopped us from. It may almost stopped us from at the start of the season, even. So there's been a very tough, I would say, last 3 months of this year for us. It's been very, very tough. Even though we went and did win in Austria, but everything else has been somewhat lacking, to be honest. Like our performance online has been poor, and our ability to even like practice has been diminished more than ever. So it's been a really tough period for us recently, but hopefully like we're looking to change that and right some of the wrong decisions that we've made recently.
Fair enough. What do your warm-up routines look like before an official? I think it's quite interesting because obviously we have a coach here as well. So obviously I'd like to get both opinions on it. arTisT, how does your warm-up routine look like? And for yourself as well, biscu, sort of what do you do heading into an official?
I can go over what I prepared for ITB yesterday. So I woke up at, I honestly think about 6 a.m. and watched every demo, I think from them since that LAN in Finland. I watched every map, prepared notes for every map, and it took about, I didn't even know, 2 o'clock. I was certain they were going to pick Mirage, but they didn't.
Yeah,
so I just wasted a bunch of my time. But like it's kind of what you just kind of have to do. So I'll kind of do that in the morning if we're playing like a big game like that or like a really important game. And then we would have done that during our the kind of advanced run as well. Any massive games that like mean so much, like I'll make sure I'm prepared for most maps. If it's a BO3, I'm like prepared for maps that might be, it could be. There's certain teams that you play that you would know 100% what the maps are, but it can't be always certain. And then kind of about 2 o'clock, kind of just deathmatch, warm up. I only really do aimbots. And then before an official, I'll either watch a demo from. So if I know the map, I'll know, like, I'll watch Smuya, I'll watch Jame, Shiro, any of them before I play. And then I'll go into the official. So I don't really like the DM and then go into the official. I like kind of DM, break, watch a demo, go into the official. So it's kind of like a whole day thing for me. Like when I like play an important game. So actually you have to be up at like 6 a.m. and like prepare the entire day.
For you as well, Karen?
Yeah, well, when I watch a demo when I'm preparing for an opponent, I actually try not to watch too many demos on them. I try to find the games where they play a lot of rounds. So I like to find like overtime games or rounds, games that have gone long rounds, and watch. I'll try and pick out the 3 or 4 maps I think it could be, and then watch about 2 or 3 on each, and look for very specific things. For example, when watching for an opponent's sort of default, you can on a T side, sometimes teams have prevalent defaults. For example, you might go 2-1-2 on Inferno quite a lot. What I would do is I would look at how one of the second mid players, for example, is always going into apps. Is he jumping up apps at a certain time and all the time? Is he going to back stairs from T apps ever? How many times is he doing that? How often is he coming just from the middle? So, for example, and the reason that's useful information is if we ever do some sort of push in second mid, I can tell the apps player, if you're ever coming down these stairs fast, you don't have to look here. He's going to be here most of the time. So stuff like that. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for to give my teammates like tactical insight during the rounds that they're going to find during the rounds. Not so much, and I'll also take like detailed notes on what it is they're doing every round. So, for example, we were playing 1 pin on Inferno, and there was a round they did it against Avantgar in the RMR, where they have 3 top brackets and 2 people. I think it's Leaf and Wolfie go back towards Banana late about 40 seconds and try to fake. They go all the way up Banana and try to like let you know that it's B. Against Avantgar, they kill 2 people, so the people rotate over. But against us, Mattis kills them both. But what happens in the round is people think that means it's B, but I was able to tell the team in that moment, actually that round has happened here and it's going to be A. So I that's what I'm looking for in the rounds. I'm not necessarily trying to create like battle plans. I'm trying to like help the players in their individual fights during the games. So that's what I'll do before a game.
Okay. One thing I'd probably add then, Ryan, is like, how would you feed that info to a sub? Like, obviously, because I think back to some of your games recently, you've had ex-teammates standing in, and you've had a couple of odd teammates here or there. So, how do you like feed information to someone that isn't normally a part of your starting five?
So it's very simple. The people we use tend to have played with us, by the way, before for periods of time. We don't tend to just go and grab any old person. So, for example, Kirk's played in this roster for a very long period of time. Yes, it was a while ago, but and before that has played with versions of this roster and people in the roster, and played with Tom for a very long time. So he knows kind of what to expect, even though yes, we'll have things that he's not aware of. But Kirk's a great player, so he's able to be brought up to speed very quickly. It's the same for people like Ping in the roster for a very long time, knows how we play, knows the chemistry, knows what it's like. So these guys, yeah, just come straight in for us when we need them, and it's really, really good, you know. So it's not too hard to bring them up to date. If it was somebody who hadn't played with us, then there would probably be a little bit more effort put into like, you're gonna do this, and if this happens, do this, and all that sort of stuff. But that doesn't need to really happen when we're relying on players that we know have the experience to just adapt and also know sort of intuitively what's going on.
The thing is as well, like me, Cal, or me, Giraffe, and Extincts cover op, IGL, Lurker, Entry Fragger. So
all the important roles.
Yeah, all the important roles. So when we do need someone to stand in, if it's Ping, Tadpole, anyone who's required, we can kind of just put them in trader positions. We can say, you throw this smoke, trade, Extinct. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you could hold this spot and you can play slow. Do you mean the slots that we do need filled in, like they can be just kind of like we're not playing the most complex CS right now, so it's quite easy to like slot someone in, like someone that's played with us before, because if some like I've had people standing before like for us before and they've not even understood a single thing I've said.
Yeah.
And I remember I got shouted at. It was like, you need to slow down because I cannot understand a single thing you're saying.
Yeah, it can be difficult. Same for me. They're like, I have no idea. No.
Another one that we ask a lot of the guys that come on is who is the best player you've played with and the best tier 2 player that you've played against? This could be in prac, in an official, in any sort of capacity.
Ooh, Volt is definitely the best player by far I've ever played with. Volt is the best player I think there ever is. Like I just love him, man. He's just so good. It's like Wolfie actually is another person I would throw up. Like Wolfie is really, his aim is unbelievable. It's like aimbot. But yeah, for me, the person I've played with the most, Volt, is just unbelievable. He's gonna go tier 1 very soon. Like,
what about your
he's just
toughest
unbelievable.
opponent then, Tom? Would you say who's like tier 2 that you would say that we've had a hard time against? It's a tough question because we have hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't remind me.
Yeah. Rallen's pretty good actually.
Yeah.
I forgot Rallen. Yeah, Rallen. What did he get? 2 rating. Good
2
guy.
rating,
Really,
yeah.
really good player. He should consider coming back. He's very, very good.
I think that was his last official against you guys.
I think it might have been. Yeah.
Of course it was.
Yeah, it may very well have been, but he should consider, dusting that mouse off. He still got it. For me, I don't know. Best player we've played with or coached, I guess, would definitely be Volt again. The guy's different gravy, man. Yeah, I have no doubt of the potential and the places that Seb is gonna go to. Still, he hasn't even really begun his career yet. It's just starting, so I can't wait to see just how far he goes. To be honest, because he is incredible. Yeah, I'd probably say Rallen as well, to be honest. I would actually agree with that now that you mention it.
I would say, like, if we're kind of just going just a bit above tier 2 and going tier 1, like,
Neofrag.
undoubtedly, Neofrag.
We had a hard time against Neofrag in the Prem games, or the MPL games.
This roster has always, like, had very, like, ton of trouble dealing with Smooya. Like, Smooya seems to farm us like crazy. Like, when he's in ITB, when he was in Movie Star, when he was in Contact, every single time we just the guy is just unbelievable. Like we're just like we like at this point we just almost have to avoid him because
Yeah,
like it's unbelievable. The guy, like, okay, he's like on Nuke, he just runs around the map. He's door, he's hot, he's door, he's main, he's vent, he's guy's top main, he's silo. Do you mean he's just everywhere? Like it's just Smooya, I would say it would probably be like if we're going to tier 1, Smooya for sure. But then and yeah, Smooya and Neofrog, yeah. But just under that, yeah, maybe Malon or trying to think.
Okay. We had any responses in the chat or anything, Ryan?
Beve's asked toughest loss of the year and why was it Tokyo XD?
When did we lose to Tokyo XD?
I don't think you did. Did you? No, you definitely didn't. Not in the most recent event, did you?
No.
I'm being serious. When did we when did that happen? I don't remember
Because
that.
in this event, your opening game was against who was it against? Oh my
I
god.
think it was Tokyo.
Oh, we
XD,
lost
right?
the seeding game. Oh, bro, that's who gives a shit about that?
Did you know? I swear
Is
you
that
won
what
that
he's
game,
talking
no?
about?
Oh, I guess we lost.
No, yeah, well, yeah, we lost, yeah, but
No.
What map was that?
Really? You lost that?
I'll
Seeding
tell you.
Antalya. Well, see what happens tomorrow.
I'll tell you what happened there. Like we just there was no need for that game. Like it was proceeding for like
Beat 'em.
we
You
both.
beat 'em 2-0.
No, that
Yeah,
was
well-
the HLTV game. That was
Yeah.
the seeding in the HLTV game. So the qualifier, I think he's on about. I'll face it.
Okay.
The best of one.
And he's saying seeding and tomorrow, so there you go. I think
Yeah, well, listen,
Yeah, but they're playing with like they're playing with Smooya tomorrow, so like.
yeah, now they have a chance. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Toughest loss gotta be let's get temperate like all day long.
Yeah, it has
I
to be
mean,
temperate, yeah.
I mean, that'll probably be my toughest loss for the rest of my life, to be honest. Until something much worse happens, which I'm sure it probably will, because that's what life is like.
The thing is with like the different A series, the first A series we played Into the Breach, we had the map advantage, but like for some reason when we lost, we weren't even like that disappointed for some reason. I'm not sure why. We just like we didn't take the loss so hard. When we were lost to temperate, like me, biscu, and Extincts, we had like this hour talk in an airport, like about like, well, what are we gonna do? Like this is like unacceptable. Like it was like. But like we were just shocked. Do you mean like it really was? Like they played so well, but like we played so bad.
There was a long discussion about you know the decisions and things that we've done in that intervening 3 months that have led to such a devastating loss. We talked about it for, like Tom said, like felt like hours, and the only thing you can do is to resolve to be much better. So that's what we did, and hopefully we're going to continue to do that.
Well, then what's the next step as a team then? Is it to like just continue grinding on HLTV? Is it to like maybe overcome that grand final at I Series? What do you think it is then?
Oh, well, to see for the A series, do you ever see what Zeus put out? It's like, I'm not fucking stopping until I win a major.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking stopping until I win an A series. I don't care if I'm fucking 35. I will win fucking A series.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's desperate.
like,
We'd like to win one of those.
yeah, like, but like, it's serious. Like, we need to step up crazy. Like, we're wasting far too much time. Like, this temperate loss really opened our eyes, and like, I'm glad we lost it because I would literally hold that loss to the reason we beat ITB and qualified for that next stage of the blast purely because we are just like
reaction.
Yeah,
the reaction has impressed. I think we've surprised each other just at the reaction. Like we were like, what have we been doing for so long? Why couldn't we have had this reaction earlier? Why did we need to have such, you know? But listen, that's how it goes. So we're gonna continue to like bring that energy and motivation and just see how far it takes us, because really, if you're not trying hard and working hard, you're going to get results like that. So at the end of the day, like Temperate deserved to win. They played better, despite the numerous issues that the LAN had.
Oh, we'll get into that bit. Don't worry about that. Ryan, have we got anything else?
One more question. One more question for you. Quick summary. Where do you think the UK scene is right now? Because it's a mixed bag all over the socials. Smooya said it was in the bin. I don't agree with it. Probably my nan thinks UK Counter-Strike doesn't exist. You know, like where do we sit as a whole with UKCS now?
You want to go on that one, Tom?
Yeah, I would have to say, I don't know. It's a tricky question. Like, there's so many aspects of it. One, okay, Endpoint beat Navi today. we've got the most international players, I think, of all time into the breach, or 58th, 57th. We've fallen off. One Pin have done pretty well, get one series away from the Ormore. We've got back to like so many salaried teams. So like there hasn't been salaried teams in years. Salary means more time for people to put in work. They don't have to like go on to do these other commitments that like they have to go work to make money, or like they can just focus fully on CS. So gradually, if they're putting in the time, the level of CS across the board will increase. So like you have to say it's the best it's ever been, I would say. But like there is that different aspects of it, like, but like I don't know what, like I remember, I think there was a podcast like a few weeks ago where like I think Mighty Max and a few casters were on it. Ryan, were you on it? I think.
I wasn't.
That's the Not Out Here
but the
podcast.
Not
Yeah,
Out
yeah.
Here one.
Yep.
I think one thing that was not said on it was like the cost of living is going to get rid of a lot of these players because they have to go and work. Do you mean there's very little players that are like myself that can actually just like spend so many years playing the game? Or do you know what I mean? Like I think me, Adam, I think is 25. I think Max might be 25 as well. Like there's not that many players that can be like get to 25 and continue to play CS. Like you have to be in such a unique situation. Do you know what I mean? And like with the cost of living increasing, like everyone will have to go to work. Like unless you're in some weird situation that like I mean you can focus on CS. But like it is good that the salaries are coming for these teams because then now they can put more hours into the game and hopefully like it improves.
Yeah, I mean, I'll add to that as well, Tom, and just say, like, what about the international opportunities? We obviously know that Blackhand and 7am are going overseas to NA. Whether the results prove it or not, just off the basis to know that two UK teams can go over to North America and have that opportunity. Obviously, you guys are in Austria only a few months ago. It's great to see that some of the UK teams can actually have proper lands outside of the UK scene and just get that international experience.
Yeah, it's a completely different environment when you go abroad. So we've went to Austria, we went to Malta. LVN's team, they've been to Malta as well, and they would agree that like, well, not the new edition, but the old one, like it's just a completely different environment. Like it feels so much more competitive. Like everyone's there, everyone wants to win. Like everyone, like you can see after a loss, everyone's outside having a huddle, and it proper feels like a competitive environment. And I'm sure the guys 7am and I'm sure Fraser's team, they're both going to come over to Philadelphia and they're just going to like it's going to be a completely different experience from what it is at iSeries or Epic LAN. So it's an incredible experience for both teams. It's like even ITB went to Finland there as well and they won that event.
True.
Like we're like each team is getting their own opportunities, like, and it's brilliant to see because I can't remember this ever happening before. I remember Adam's team went to an event in Switzerland, Supreme Masters.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, a few years ago. And I think that was the only thing I can remember that, like, something similar to this. But, like, every team's getting their own opportunities. It's class. Like, unbelievable. Like, I hope everyone just fucking owns it and will just become the best scene in the world. And we just fucking change everyone's minds.
I mean, my thoughts on the UK scene are very similar. I think that it's in a pretty good place. I think it would be in a better place if the likes of Smuya and Thomas were like competing at the top level, like we know they can. I think that's slightly disappointing, but obviously there's reasons for that, and people make their own decisions for their own reasons, and that's perfectly fine. But it is disappointing to see like two of our greatest exports, I would say, not playing, in my opinion, because they are just super talented, and we're a weaker scene for it. Regardless of what team they play on, you know, they don't have to be a UK team, just they're representing that sort of the scene, you know. But I think the most disappointing thing for the UK scene in recent news is that Wolfie won't be playing with One Pin, because I would say that he's been pretty integral to their recent successes. I would actually say he's been pivotal. So I think it's really disappointing to see something like that, especially when they were doing so well. Still are doing so well, by the way. They've still got their ESEA season. They're doing very well in SEL. They'll be playing in Beyond on the weekend. So I think that's the most disappointing thing, not to see that roster continue to stay together. Obviously, we'll see what happens. But that's probably the most disappointing thing. As far as everything else goes, regarding the opportunities and stuff, I can't remember a time in UK history when organizations were sending their teams to tournaments that weren't in their country. That the only team that's really ever done it, and as far as I can remember, is Endpoint. I don't remember seeing Reason or Method or any of these, or even what's the other one, Excel, when they had a roster, send their rosters anywhere. Maybe to a boot camp, but never to Philadelphia or a tournament in the Scandinavian regions or elsewhere. Just doesn't happen. So I think that if teams keep doing that and more players keep getting that experience, then you'll see the scene sort of go like that very soon. I think that's what we're in the process of doing. We're slowly going like this here, and like the best players are getting sort of picked off for the scene like this a scene above. But that's the tide's still coming, in my opinion.
Positive
Nice.
signs.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Actually, I think that there is a real good chance that if we keep going this way, then the UK will have its support that it needs. I think we can move on to the finished events a little bit here, Josh.
Yeah.
A lot to talk about. I think we start with the bad and then we can turn to the good, lads.
Sure,
So,
we love that.
Yeah, don't you worry. We won't be too long here on the I-69 loss. But of course, for those maybe at home that didn't know, second time running, lads, that you make the grand finals and get beaten in a best of 5. Yeah, I'm sorry. It has to be said for those listening at least. I think the frustration was definitely heard earlier on when you guys were talking about it, right? How eye-opening it was as an event. I think we can actually push past the stage bit a little bit because I think that's the bit that got the most coverage, and I think most people at home will know. Talk to us about the event. Obviously, me and Josh played in it as well. A little less competitive capacity. Let's put it that way. But I think as a host, I-69 or Insomnia in general, I don't know, man. You have a chance to redeem yourself and bring it all back, and nothing has been redeemed.
Yeah, in my opinion, it was quite stark to see the drop in attending teams from the last event. I think it tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
What do we have? Something close to 40 teams, and we had 20 this time.
22 this time. I think it was like 38 last time or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's a big difference, and a lot of people chose to vote with their money and not come back because it was so poor the first time. The first time back, and to be honest, there weren't any like huge delays like the first time, but the servers were somehow worse. Like the whole event, the servers were on Red SV, so anyone that's played in Counter-Strike competitively or even on Face It at whatever elo, when the net graph and the SV goes red, you're not shooting anyone. In fact, you're lagging around the corner and you're dead and you don't know from where. So sort of the whole event was sort of marred by that, which is really disappointing. But listen, like there's not much you can do about it when you're the biggest sort of LAN organizer sort of sells out and gives it to someone that doesn't really know what they're doing and doesn't really care either, apparently.
Yeah, I think it was to all levels. I mean, obviously, for Ryan and us, like we're obviously not a team that are looking to get to HLTV, not looking to come to this event to win the whole thing. But even having like server problems, like for us, it's not a massive deal. But when you're paying that sort of money to book a hotel, to go to the event, to be there for an entire weekend, for all of us to take time off of our regular jobs, you have to expect a certain quality. And to sit there, jiggle peeking and being swung out wide and fucking the servers just to be shit like that is not ideal at all. I mean, we could talk about like even the scheduling too. Obviously, we got grouped on the first day, and we're doing a charity stream right for this event. So we've got a lot of people. Like I think me and Brandon were talking about it. We were getting like close to 80 to 100 concurrent viewers throughout the entire first day. We've got so many people that are wanting to watch day 2 of Inters. Okay, when does Inter start? I've got no idea. I put a message out the night before, didn't hear anything. I put a message out in the morning. We just happened to turn up early because we were like, well, we don't just want to like stay in bed or like whatever. We want to be there. And then what was it? At 11:10 a.m., we get a message to say Inter's bracket is up. Sign up by 12. So everyone's got 50 minutes to sign up to the Inter's bracket. Now, again, for Inter's, you're not looking at the top teams, but we still had what, 8 teams? I think Ryan signed up. There was two groups of 4 for Inter's. Like, how do we have 50 minutes notice? Like, it was fine for us. We were there. That's not a problem. But what, like, you've got to know. And
How
then
can you
even
not throw them up that night?
Yeah. Even the playoff bracket for you guys, it didn't come out till 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, it's just not good enough.
Yeah, we sort of preempted that though because we sort of knew that was going to happen from the last time. So we were just like, we'll just be up at what time did we say, Tom? 8, and we'll be at the hall. We'll be at the LAN hall at 8 o'clock just to prevent any mischief. But obviously, not everyone has the luxury of that. Like people want to like socialize with their friends and do whatever, and maybe they still had games to play. Obviously, we went, you know, sort of through the upper bracket in the event, so we didn't really have many games, so it was sort of easy for us to just sort of whatever. But yeah, obviously, it's like it's really, really bad the way the whole event's run. It's very unprofessional considering how much money they make you pay. Everywhere, not just at the front door. It's everywhere. Like if you want a burger and chips, I hope you've got 20 quid in your pocket. Because you're
not
getting
even a good one either.
No,
No,
it's the worst thing you've ever seen.
it's honestly the most disgusting shit ever. Like, I mean, I went up to the place and I go, "Can I have a burger with all the works?" And she'll be like, "Yeah, that's 16 quid." And I was like, "Excuse me, 16 quid?" I was like, "What happened? What is there flipping what do you call that shit that you the truffles? Is there fucking truffles on it for fuck's sake?" I couldn't believe it, man. I was just shocked. That not only did they make you pay unbelievable like BYOC cricket price, they're also getting you for food, bro. Like I don't know, like it's just a joke of an event at this point. Like hopefully they fix up in like the preceding events, but there's no sign that that's gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, we could even like touch on the security aspect as well.
Oh
Like,
man, how shocking!
it was awful. Like when I was getting my monitor out of the venue, I hadn't even opened the box, and the guy was like, "Yeah, go on then." I was like, "So you're not even gonna like look at my monitor? Like, what is this?" Yeah. No, security was absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
It always is. It was the
It
same
always-
last event as well. Yeah.
It always is though. Like you've got like those Donnies don't give a shit about like whether someone's monitor is getting stolen. Like they're just like, yeah. It's like that. It's like that meme. Do you know the guy?
Yeah, the guy just patting them down. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, that's Insomnia security's like. Just flash a wee flashlight. Yeah, mate, no worries. Absolutely sweet as. Could have a bomb in there, but fuck it, I don't care. The dog's not here, so whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else? I mean, that we had the adminning and the round restore, right, Ryan?
Oh yeah. I'm not pointing fingers at what admins, but let's just say a certain admin had to Google in front of me how to round restore to get our game going again. Yeah, that was quite nice. Oh yeah, an admin in our chat as well. Again, don't like quote it, but it was along the lines of, so we had to ask for a round restore, we got it, and then the admin wrote in the chat to all of the players, "Thank God I didn't break it." It's like, what? Like how is this happening? Like, what sort of confidence is that giving me as a person to see? Thank God I didn't break it. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
but,
you have to realize that the fact that he didn't break it is like an absolute accomplishment.
Yeah,
for the
that's
admin
why
Yeah.
it took so long
defense.
for them to put up the bracket. They were out celebrating till 3 in the morning. They didn't break the
Exactly. They're
service.
like, yes, we
Yeah.
actually got the round reset. Yes, go on.
Yeah.
I think like across both events, by the way, like the one thing I 100% remember is our charity match, something that we organized. We hosted on Face It, like completely like nothing to do with
Yeah.
Insomnia. Is my favorite memory of across both I series. Like
Yeah, it
it
was
literally was
hilarious.
I
100%.
just remember being sitting behind you and just saying, "Gives me just popping FPLC." I was like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, like what's he doing?
That was good though. That was.
That was yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Hey, iSeries, if you're listening, although we gave you shit, give us a slot on the stage next LAN and we'll give you a show match, honestly. That would...
It's a great idea. Why have they not thought about doing something like that? That would be a
Mate, why
brilliant
not?
idea.
Literally.
There you go.
Yeah.
iSeries, you know
Just-
our bell.
I mean, we'll
just-
be there. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should absolutely do something like that. Just like get a who's who of people and just get like 10 people. Just do a show match.
yeah, an hour.
You could
doesn't
do
it-
that on, Index's thing, Tom, whatever that is that they do show
Oh,
matches on.
yes. Yeah, I know what you're on
Yeah.
about.
What's
It's
that?
like basically like every round is like a new different game mode. You could get like
Oh,
bump mines
really?
or like
Oh yeah,
shots
that yeah.
Hey,
It's
Yeah.
good.
fucking
It's
bring
good.
it
It's
on.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm surprised we forgot about it. We should have reached.
The more
reached
trolling,
out.
the better, I reckon.
Yeah, 100%. Double points for the Zeus's, lads. All right.
I mean, it's got to be said about Temperate's lower bracket run as well. Like, I think we had
Yeah.
to discuss that. I didn't realize how early into the
Oh, yeah.
bracket they actually went down into the lower bracket. Gives me very familiar vibes, Ryan,
Dusty.
with Dusty's run at Epic. The fact that you're going down into the lower bracket that early, not dropping a single map all the way, and then, of course, getting the opportunity to play on stage. Because obviously, I think going into this event, everyone knew the two like actual teams were you guys and Temperate. Even the higher end teams, you've got the mix, like the Sorex mix, you've got the Shubi mix, you've got the Leicester 5 mix. Like, you've got a few mixes where you can look at and say, okay, they'll be fairly competitive. Azuru's mix as well, you can throw in there. But when it comes to actual teams, it was just you two. So to actually see Temperate down in a very awkward position, I think a lot of people were surprised about that when the playoffs started. Like, geez, Temperate's down there quick. But they've done incredibly well to even get to the stage and then to win the event as well. Being a map down in a best of 5 is an incredible run from them.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. Like I'm sure, like they think about it now and just smile because like it's just so crazy. Like it's something a bit like I'm surprised Netflix won't pick it up and do a fucking movie about it. Like because it's just fucking, it just sounds class. Like
All or nothing. Temper.
yeah.
I did like as well the fluffs, like, oh, you're gonna come back.
Oh yeah.
Fix the
But to be,
servers. Yeah.
it does have to be said though, and I
Yeah.
think
It does,
that if you don't say that in a winners match interview, iSeries are going to be like, oh, nothing was wrong, you know, everything ran pretty smoothly. So even though it is like a bit of BM and you know it's on HLTV and everything, I think that did have to be said, and I was actually really happy that that did get mentioned in the interview, and hopefully, you know, something can be done for the next one.
It has to be said. Oh, go on. Sorry, Biscuit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same. I was really glad to see Fluffs had the presence of mind to actually mention it.
Yeah, I think like after 2 lands, like the problem that I think everyone has is like there wasn't an issue going to this land, but it was a fact that we got like the email and the announcement in the Discord prior saying like we have taken our time to change the servers and like the structure and everything. Like we got that information and they said we are making improvements and they didn't, right? So it had to be said. It had to be said.
Yeah,
and fair
it's
play
like
to him for saying it.
it's like, yes, believe us, guys. Their servers are good this time. Trust me, we've worked really hard. Yeah, worked on what? I don't know. They were somehow worse. So I don't know.
I think as well. See for iSeries, I'm not sure who I was talking to about this, but do you know like how they have like casual gamers and then they have competitive gamers?
Oh, right.
But then,
them, yeah.
Oh man,
but
don't
like,
even get me
do
started.
you see they have them like we were beside the Team Fortress 2 guys.
Yeah.
You'd almost think that they just want Counter-Strike, but like in an area, so like it feels like Epic Land. Do you know where like
Yeah.
everyone's
Everywhere, man.
around?
Yeah.
Look
But,
at
like-
the last one that happened, what was it, middle of the year, where they separated all the floors from all the different games.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I think it takes away from the atmosphere, like because you're screaming after. Like I don't like we would be loud. Like we were loud in Malta because the guys were right across from us. We were loud in Austria because the guys were right across from us. We have no idea where anyone is. Like
Yeah.
the Team Fortress 2 guys were behind us were screaming and it was fun to watch. But like we were playing. I think we were playing Rory and Jack B. But like we have no idea where they are.
They're on the
I
other
mean, it
side of
kind
the
of takes
pole,
away from that like
yeah.
whole LAN atmosphere. It's
I agree.
I feel like that should be adjusted too, like because it takes it away so much. It just kills the mood.
I need it.
I feel like a simple just this is where Counter Strike is.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do. Like and
Yeah.
the
Keeps all
you know,
parties happy.
the World of Warcraft players will be much happier. You know.
Yeah, tell me about it, man. The amount of abuse that I've been sent in the. In
You
the
got
IC.
sent?
Yeah, man. Do you not hear me that weekend? To be fair, I was giving it some, but like.
Were you? Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
but like I got people writing like, oh yeah, you're way too loud for a LAN. I'm like, dude, it's a LAN. Like I
Yeah.
could not have sit further in like the esports area. Yeah, exactly, man. Like fucking I just yeah.
Unbelievable stuff.
I don't know, man. I don't know. My response to those people are sit further back. That would be my. Like I'm literally sitting in the A row, and if you're getting noise complaints, like I'm sorry, you're in the wrong place. Like I can't sit any further away from you, so I don't know. Yeah, but I think actually the underlying tone is like iSeries need to realize how important they are, as a tournament organizer as well. Especially for, I think, two things. One for Counter-Strike and the second for Team Fortress. I guess that kind of extends to Valorant as well as kind of like a different esport, right? Is that we only have 3 Epic LANs and 2 Insomnias as BYOCs a year. You know, we don't have the luxury like Denmark do on having all like your El Gigantons being in the studios and whatever, right? Like, I don't know that, but at least when these other countries have the BYOCs, there's a lot of them, right? And you can kind of like pick and choose which ones you go to. But for us, I mean, maybe for you guys as well, Epic LAN isn't something you'll probably ever look at just because the prize pool is too small. And so the 2 Insomnias a year that you get are the most important events you're going to get in the UK. And if they can't do it up to scratch, then it hurts the whole ecosystem of UKCS. So that would be my only other note about iSeries, is that they need to realise how important they are to us as well. We need that event. So if they don't get their shit in gear, then it's going to be quite unfortunate, really, because we're only going to have Epic LANs to turn to, and that's definitely an event that's more centralised around community and having fun, and like the LAN vibe. We definitely get some decent teams, but they're all mixes. You know, we don't get the good UK teams turning up. So yeah, it is very important for that.
Maybe Epic LAN should consider increasing their ticket price and just devoting it to the prize pool or something like that, or finding
Yeah.
some sort of way to up it so that they can encourage more teams to come.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
It is a tough one, obviously, because I know all the Epic LAN guys are all working mostly as volunteers just to keep the lights on. So obviously it's important, and I agree with you, Ryan. Like, Insomnia is like a cornerstone in the UK Counter-Strike scene, and not only just that, but the other esports that you mentioned. I think actually that's what will keep Insomnia alive rather than dying a horrible death, actually, even if Counter-Strike guys decide that it's enough, because Team Fortress have nothing else,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's their
Valorant
major,
have
hey.
and Valorant have nothing else other than like their fledgling beginnings in Epic LAN. So yeah, I agree. Maybe Insomnia needs to die. Something needs to replace it. Maybe that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, I agree actually. If they don't up their shit, then something else needs to happen, big time. But I think they'll know from this event the amount of abuse that, well, not abuse, but feedback and criticism we've all slogged at them.
I would say as well, I believe every ticket holder got an email from iSeries of a feedback form. If you really care about making the
fill it
CS
out.
better, every single team on the CS that came to this event, whether you made Inters, whether you made Swiss Stage, whether you made Plus, whatever, fill out that form, put all of your feedback in, because we could all sit here and talk about it now, but if no one's filling out that form, they don't know. You know, they might not be on the same platforms that we are. So for all the teams out there, fill it out, get your message across, and hopefully those issues can be addressed come the next event.
Moving on, I think that's quite a nice
I think
sentiment to leave it on there. Some success for you lads, and we talked about it a little bit earlier as well. The SteelSeries Nova Cup, probably the strangest event I think we've had in terms of sort of how late the sign-ups were released. Obviously, you guys had to play through the qualifiers.
I'm sorry, what was strange about it? What was strange about it?
Oh yeah, true. 4 days notice is the usual. I do agree.
What?
I do agree.
Sorry, go ahead, Ryan. Don't mean to stop you.
No, you're good. It's just the late sign-up notice. Obviously, you guys heading in, you're the only team that made the grand final in the last 2 events from the open qualifiers. Last time we had Endpoint and Fnatic playing. This time it was ITB and 1pin invited. You guys made it through and won the entire event. That gives you a slot in the main event, the EU Champions. That's the name that's carried across throughout. Obviously, the winner of that entire tournament gets a slot in the Blastful Showdown. So, quite big stuff for you guys. Do you want to talk us a little bit through maybe your journey? Maybe not through the open qualifiers because those were a mess from beginning to end. But maybe you can talk to us about the main event, right? You guys obviously got to play, in your opening game at least, it was against the guys of Blackhand. That was a pretty interesting game. Surprised me with how well they did on Inferno, and then from there you guys just handled them very easily.
Yeah, I think so. We were in the airport that Monday evening after the iSeries final, and me, biscu, and Extinct were like, right, we need the one. Like, this is just like unacceptable. Like the level of CSO we're playing at the minute is just so poor. We need to beat Blackhand. but we need to like prove to everyone that like we can beat one pin. Now in our heads, we've beat one pin over and over and over again. Maybe it's not as public as we would like it to see, but like I think we beat them in a qualifier. I think we beat them in SCL. We've beat them along the road over and over again. And like I feel like I have a good read on kind of how Docs calls. So like in our eyes, like they are having good success, good for them. But like we kind of always kind of put ourselves a bit above them purely because I feel like every single time we play them, we can just beat them. So we were in the airport. We're like, okay, we'll beat Blackhand. We'll prove to everyone that we can beat one pin, and then we'll take on ITB. And we were kind of thinking like they're going to go up one map default because they're going to pick Mirage, and we're going to go for 1-2. You know what I mean, take the first map and take the last map. It didn't go that way. Their nuke was completely a bit different. From what like we were kind of like we had kind of a good game plan going into it. But it just obviously didn't work because Dabo just ran at us and just was everywhere we tried to attack. And then, but like after the first map, hopes were still high, and we were just like, right, boys, like they aren't as good. Like there's almost like this like element. Smooya's not there. We can like they're weak. Do you know what I mean? Like it just feels like his presence is just fucking so known. Like on the server, it's just crazy.
Ominous.
Yeah. So, but like, and we felt that in the first map, even though we got absolutely slapped in the first map. Like we still felt it was like actually, you know. We kind of just got on. I hate to use the word like I hate to use unlucky as an excuse, because they did almost in the first map, but like we definitely felt that like we could have won it. We could have made it a bit closer. They might have won it. Do you mean like we might have been a 16-11, 16-12, but we still like after the game we're like okay we can actually win this, but they picked Inferno and not Mirage.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you reckon it could have actually been a 2-0 for them if they picked Mirage?
100%. 100%.
100%. I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
But
I mean,
we-
a lot of teams will obviously know for you guys, Dust 2 and Mirage is like out
Yep.
of the picture.
Yep.
And knowing that, I mean, I watched them this morning, like the morning of when they played this game, they were playing Eyeballers and they were playing
Yep.
Mirage. They were unreal.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
they're
I think
very
well,
good.
they're gonna pick
They're
Mirage
very,
against you
very
guys.
good on Mirage. They're very good on it. I have no earthly idea why they decided to do that. Maybe they just decided that like we were gonna lose and it didn't matter, and they saw us lose to Blackhand and were just like Inferno. Maybe that was what it is, but maybe they just took us lightly and it didn't really think about the veto. I didn't think about maximizing their chances to win correctly. So maybe they just underestimated us, and that's probably why the veto looked like that. I mean, I imagine when we play again, they won't make a mistake like that again. They'll probably pick Mirage.
That's fair. One thing I did want to talk about is Tokyo XD. A side that the only mixed team heading into this event played, obviously beat Legates in the semi-final seeding, and obviously Legates is a main team, right? And so for Tokyo XD, you've got a pretty decent side of individuals, right? You're looking at Bev, Vise, Ravenlot, Ents, iFan. I'm not sure how much you guys watched in particular of the event and whatnot, but they went 16-11. Although they lost both maps, they took 11 rounds off of ITB's Mirage and then 11 rounds off of them on Overpass as well. You know, obviously not a team and maybe a mix, but they really surprised me this event in sort of how well they played, and as a whole, I just thought I'd mention them and give them sort of a bit of a thumbs up because I thought that they'd actually really surprised me in that event. Obviously, you guys did pretty well against them on Vertigo and Overpass 16-9, 16-10, but the fact that they put up such a fight against ITB really surprised me.
Yeah, like I'm just gonna say, like I think the way ITB are playing at the minute is just way too like these guys are getting salaried. I don't think they're cracking as much. They're not playing like they're not changing up their stuff. They're like it just seems to be the same stuff I've seen. Like I watched a bunch of demos of them yesterday, and it's the exact same stuff that I seen 5 months ago. Do you know what I mean? It's the exact same stuff I would have seen before Smooth and Thomas joined. And like I feel like these guys like they have to change like what they're doing. Like I feel like they have to just put in a lot more effort because they can dedicate all their time to improving and be like the absolute like concrete one team in the UK, like 100%, and like they'd be untouchable. But like for some reason, it just doesn't feel like they're doing that, and they're repeating the same stuff. It's like almost like us. Like I'm giving the same calls round after round after round. We're not doing any different types of variations. They're doing the same. Like, I think more effort needs to be put in by them, because like watching them like 5 months ago, watching them yesterday, there's not much difference. Like on Mirage, for example, they always go B. Like it's just something they've always done. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just something that, like, I guess teams will have tendencies and stuff, but like between 5 months to now and still have the same tendency, I think it's a bit, I don't know. I think they just need to change up, because there's absolutely, like, they're full salaried players, 100% should be the best team in the UK, and shouldn't absolutely not losing to us at all. They just shouldn't be, but they are. When Bevy's team getting close on maps absolutely shouldn't happen. It's a complete mixed team that have never played with each other. One of the guys is on 100 ping. One of the guys can't speak a word of English. How are they getting 11 rounds? Do you mean, like, as brutal as it sounds, like these games shouldn't be close. I mean, I'm ITB's #1 fan. I watch all their games. I mean, I love ITB. ITB should be the best. ITB did the major, I say. Do you know what I mean? But like, they need to be doing a lot more effort, because it's obviously not happening.
Well, I'd add to that best of 3 is the first ITB best of 3 loss since bringing in Draken and Rusty. Since they brought them in, they haven't lost a best of 3 until you guys.
Yeah, they have been playing pretty well, but like, I don't know. It's just like, even when I watch them, like I watched the Eyeballers game, they 12-3 to half for Mirage, I think.
Yeah.
And like, they are playing well, but like, I don't know. I'm still seeing the same rounds over and over again. I don't know. Maybe, like, I just feel like they just have to do certain changes and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
Maybe they'll be tested against like high level competition, because obviously now they've made main Swiss of ESEA. That's where you get like the big boys, you know, the top 30, top 40 teams. So, because at the moment, like even that Finland land and then the games that they've played, they haven't really played top end tier 2 teams yet. So maybe when they start playing some of the bigger boys, that will be like the test of what they're like against stronger competition.
Yeah, there's a long season left, so there's still lots of the season left for them to show just exactly how very good they are. I mean, I wouldn't be so damning about them so far. I mean, the roster is still fairly fresh. And obviously Drusty, I've combined their names. Draken and Rusty are very good players. Like very experienced players, so they add a lot to the roster. So I just think it's going to be like take a little bit of time for them to like fully mesh and maybe add some stuff to their arsenal. But they're a very good team. They're still, I think, still the best team in the country. I think we'd have to beat them 3 or 4 times in best of 3s in like the space of a couple of months to just to have that, you know, notion dispelled. So, because they have got a winning record over us, I believe. So, or at least in recent times, anyway. So, yeah, no, I would still put them up there, but you know, we're looking to dethrone them. Like that's always the aim.
Okay. Should we look at the other regions, Ryan, of this event?
I was going to bring up quickly. We were going to talk about the French and the DACH qualifiers. Obviously, we do love a bit of German.
Have you guys
French
seen
CS.
any of the other quals for this same event?
Well, actually,
I've seen one. Yeah.
I seen the results. I didn't actually get watching the games.
Yeah, the results were mental, to be fair.
Yeah.
So that's probably what we'll dive into.
We'll talk about the French ones. I don't think there's like an awful lot we can talk about here, Josh, in terms of the matches, other than what is obvious. As we look at the French ones here, obviously when you look at this event, you look at the teams, Falcons should be going through. Despite that, LDLC beat them in a best of 3. The LDLC boys looking really good this event. Obviously, Ambush, another team that we kind of know, making it through, losing out to Falcons earlier on in the event, meeting LDLC in the grand finals, and well, it was a pretty close best of 3, but all things considered, this should be a 2-0 Falcons any day of the week, and it just wasn't.
You said this was a close best of 3. It looks like a pretty decisive one.
Yeah, I'm saying maybe the 16-12 on Inferno, like that game was pretty close. I remember watching the tail end of it. Like it could have gone either way. Dust 2 definitely one-sided. Vertigo again is one of those maps that maybe it's just I was expecting more out of Falcons, which is why I want to say it's closer than it is. But you are right. Like looking at the score lines, maybe Inferno was close. Vertigo not so excusable. Dust 2 definitely isn't. Falcons are losing out in a best of 3 here, and what is probably the most important event on the circuit in terms of like getting to the main event, playing more HLTV games with this new roster, and you know having the chance at playing at Blast, and they fall short to an LDLC side that is Amanek. You know, that's
I actually see quite a lot of parallels here with our run. actually. So I say it sort of feel a bit like wrong, almost like saying, "Oh, they should have won" or whatever, you know, because obviously LDLC thought that they probably could do the upset here, and they've probably worked quite hard for it. And fair play to them. Obviously, Falcons here have snoozed a little bit, and not been fully serious, and have allowed themselves to get pipped at the post here. That's the way I would read that. Sort of like ITB, to be honest. Like I guess we put more, we wanted it more, and maybe that's why LDLC have won here as well. I mean, that looks like almost like our bracket there, to be honest. Obviously, they're a little bit more known.
It's kind of crazy though. Like LDLC are currently ranked 215th, and Falcons are 26th.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. Like, to be honest.
Yeah, everyone's talking about the mad upset of Endpoint beating RV. What the fuck about this game, man? Fucking LDLC, honestly. Because obviously we've seen old LDLC lineups, and I think that's kind of where Falcons have come from as well. And Ryan, I think we've spoken about it on previous shows. We were like, oh, if Aminek's coming, then maybe MBK comes as well. Maybe Lambert comes back as an IGL. Like, you get some good pieces around it. I've no idea who these guys are.
Yeah, maybe
like,
that's what they need. Might just some new blood or something, you know?
Maybe.
Like that. Yeah, like that's
this
what we like to see.
LDLC team has been grinded like for a long time. I think last season,
like this core,
this core. I'm pretty sure.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think so because last season in Advanced, I think they did very well, and they fucked up playoffs, or it might have been the season before that.
Okay.
So like, I think they have been like together quite a bit, and now they've had just Adamic. So like. But still, like 215th in the world beating 26th is something bizarre. Like that's crazy. I don't know.
It's a big game too, because like realistically, I think Falcons would be the favorites to make it to Blast. So the fact that you're not even making it to the qualifier that can get you to the showdown is a massive step back for them. So yeah, I don't know, big upset.
This is a big upset.
I think
speaking of, what about the German one as well?
The DACH qualifiers, man. Like, I don't know. We went from Sprout, who literally played the first RMR qualifier and slapped everyone, to not even making the main event of this, getting beaten by Sangal, who are a side that, admittedly, I watched them in the qualifiers also in RMR number 3, I want to say, where they made it. Fozy has looked unreal on this roster, but besides the point, this is Sprout with a side that has, you know, Zyphon and Refresh on as your most recent additions. Lornix has always been a killer that we talk about. Stairs also been a pretty vocal player on Sprout, and Slacks has always been the old reliable. Like, this side can shoot back, and you lose in a best of 3 to Sprout in arguably, well, a lot closer on the decider for Sangal and maybe on the second map of Vertigo. They lose horribly on Ancient. You think, yep, this is going exactly how you planned it, and then they just flick a switch after Ancient, and Sangal, they beat them in a best of 3. How upsetting is that?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the maps now. Sangal are very good on Vertigo and Inferno. Like, we have experience of having played them and like having trying to prepare for them, and like, it just not working. So obviously Sprout, they're 21, and like, it's not nearly as crazy as LDLC 200 and whatever it was versus whatever the Falcons team was, like 28 or something. But yeah, no, it's very impressive to see the Sangal roster like perform like that against Sprout on those, like, I would say 2 of their stronger maps. I'd say Sprout have probably messed the veto up a little bit there, to be honest, by just looking at it.
I mean, we were talking about it on a previous episode, Ryan, like taking the piss out of it, like Fusi fucking joined Sangal, like, come on. But at the same point, after seeing this result, maybe you look at it and go, okay, there's like something here, because I remember they were at the RMR, but I think they had some trouble. They had Tugux, like their coach, had to play for Soulfly because they had some visa issues or something. So yeah, okay, you went 0-3 at the RMR, but then there's more mitigating circumstances.
Yeah.
Now, okay, you've beaten your rivals. I mean, they're not obviously completely core of like that scene and nor is Sprout either. But this is a massive victory, and I kind of hope to see what they can do come the next stage of the event, because they're ranked fairly high. I don't think their results have been that impressive.
Yeah.
But they've made the RMR again, haven't they? Because they did it last major, and now they've done it for the second time. They beat Tropic, didn't they?
Yes.
I was remembering that. They beat Tropic to make the
so
RMR this time around.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They're a good team. They've beat very good teams. Like I'm I'm not shocked to see that result. Obviously, they're not favorites. They probably more 9 times out of 10 they should lose the game, but I've seen them win those games before, so I'm not necessarily shocked. But I would say that the reason that game has happened is because of the vetoes. It looks like there's been a mess up there.
Are we talking about QnA as well, Ryan? They were at conference and they've made changes. I think Matty's got kicked and they brought Dennis in. You're not taking a map against Sangal. I don't know. Things don't look that pretty for this QnA team, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's about time we have a look at this roster and have a little bit of a rethink. We had, you know, Crystal and Stefan, the only 2 players staying from the old QnA, the OG
That's
QnA.
right, yeah.
And we got HS Color, and there was one other, wasn't there? I think
Yeah, Dennis just joined, didn't he?
There was someone before
Matty.
Dennis. Yeah, Matty. Yeah, right. So we had like this 5 European squad coming into conference. We're like, do you know what? This team could hit, and they don't. And again in this qualifier, admittedly, their run cut quite short, of course, by the Sangal guys who go on to win the event. So I guess it's a little bit excusable in that sense, but. I don't know. As you said, I think circumstances dictate that QnA should be scoring a little higher than what they have in this event.
I will say, I've just looked at their HLTV, and they haven't actually played a single official after conference. So I don't know what they're playing in, like maybe SEO and Advanced and stuff like that. But they're not playing HLTV games. I didn't realize that, to be honest.
I mean, I don't think it matters though at that point. You know, it should have been an appropriate time frame for you to be able to knuckle down at least like 3 or 4 good maps. And start putting numbers up, even if you aren't making it onto the HLTV side of things. True. Like you should 100% be doing that. So I don't know. I'm pretty spun with this side. One more thing I think I want to talk about just before we wrap up on the whole Gamers X thingy. We have the European qualifiers that started. I want to say tonight.
It started tonight, yeah.
So you can play obviously.
Bro.
Go on.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say, how the fuck did Titans get invited to this, man? Like, seriously, how has this happened?
Yeah.
These guys have been getting paid an absolute shit ton. They've made 1,500 of prize money in the last 2 years, and yet they're getting invited to this. Like, who have they had to give money under the counter for? Honestly, what is
the
happening?
brown envelopes in car parks? Is that what you're saying? Like, yeah.
I don't know. You've got fucking Fnatic and Movistar Riders in there. How has Titans got an invite?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all about who you know, right?
But then again, they are in stage 1 qualifiers. So
still, man.
No. Agreed.
They haven't even got an HLTV game.
Agreed. Anyway, so obviously the European qualifiers are going on. They started today, so you can't play in that. But obviously the overview is that all of the teams through the British qualifiers, European qualies, the French, the DACH, whatever, all come together. GSL format, single elim best of 3 playoff bracket. Winner gets a slot in the Blastful Showdown. So it's a pretty big event, and I think it's pretty cool that there is an invite slot out there for the Blastful Showdown. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I mean, you look at the teams, right, and this is a pretty stacked event already. So this is a big opportunity. You know, you talk about Heroic, you talk about Vitality, Astralis. Like, maybe they're not the finest tier 1 teams that we have, but this is massive if you can get to this slot and this space, right? Definitely. So it's nice that the offer is definitely there, that we have an EU event. I would like to see a few more slots opened up to EU. I think it's very unfair that you know, North American get 1 slot and EU get 1 slot, but then the Nordics only get 1 slot and Eastern Europe gets their own. Like, to me, there's so much more talent in the EU champions than there is in all the other events. So I don't know. That's the only bone to pick I'd have with Blast, is that why aren't we offering more slots? But hey, we'll take what we can get, and so that slot is obviously still ongoing. I guess we could talk about ongoing stuff as well, Josh, right?
Yeah.
Something else that we can discuss a little bit more so is, of course, the Advanced and maybe CCT a little bit. Do you gents want to talk to us about your Advanced run so far through ESEA? And maybe I'll pull up the page in just a second for everyone at home to see. But how has Advanced been for you guys so far?
I mean, last game we had Smuya, Thomas, Bevy, Mad, and Biscu.
Well, yes.
Oh, I don't know.
First time in history, 2 teams playing at the same time.
Yeah, that was just we won at least. I'm just like, there's no excuses. We've been lazy. Do you know what I mean? We have been like, we need to really step on the pedal here, because this is what the level we're playing at is just literally unacceptable. Like, at this point we'd be nearly just turning around to each other and saying that we're wasting each other's times, and we don't want to say that. I mean, we have it in us. We all know we can push further. We've done it in the past, but these last few weeks, I think kind of the player break.
Yeah, that killed us.
It just completely destroyed our momentum. Like, I don't know why. Like, the player break should be for tier 1s on tier 1 players only. I mean, it shouldn't affect anyone else.
You reckon?
But like, I think so, yeah. Because like, I think even at tier 1, you should still be proving yourself. But every level under tier 1, you really just need to prove everything. Like,
Take
you need to
every
be
opportunity to
yeah.
prove yourself. Like, you don't have time to rest.
The only problem there is like you think about like Sinners, Skade, like those sorts of, they're playing like 130, 140 maps on HLTV in the last 3 months. Like, obviously the top tier 2 teams are playing fucking every event under the sun. So I think from Ryan and I's perspective, like the player break sometimes even means more to the tier 2 teams than it does to tier 1. But at the same time, we actually do get quite a lot of teams that still grind very hard in the player break. And I think they see the success come out of it as well. Like, if you are one of those teams that just knuckle down even when the break's on.
I think Blame F said like over like Christmas period, like a few years ago, so like if you have the time, just constantly keep grinding this Christmas period, like just show everyone what you're made of, like, and just like use every extra hour to get every little bit more information, that little bit better than everyone else that you're about to play. So, I mean, I just think like that's Blame F's mentality. So like, I think like anyone like, yeah, okay, you do have the few exceptions at that tier 2 level who play like, even in Tropic, like I don't even know where you would put them now. Yeah. But like, I mean, they're just grinding every relog event, every ESEA, every event. You have those few exceptions, like, but like your likes of like, let's say like ATB, Alu's new team, all those type of teams, they need to be just grinding like crazy to get up to that level where Entropic and Sinners and all those teams are, and then they can kind of be like, okay, it is a player break. Let's actually take a break. Do you know what I mean? But unless you're up to that level, you should not be taking a break for any reason. I don't think, especially as well, like any team that's under that, like should be grinding to get ready for their RMR that happens directly after the player break for some reason. So like that's their chance to prove themselves, cause massive upsets to like Astralis, for example, because they had a difficult run. And I mean, like that's getting your name out there. And if you play very well, then you might get picked up for another team. And if you're young enough, you make a wee play, and then I mean that's your road to success. So like I think there is a few exceptions that should take the player break at the tier 2 level, but most of them should be grinding.
By the way, how have you guys got so much nuke and vertigo on the ESEA Advanced?
I don't know.
So far.
No one pays attention.
No,
we're still lost.
Yeah, still lost.
Yeah,
still lost.
Close games.
Yeah, but to absolute noobs, bro.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Take Aim Gaming, they should probably make playoffs, and then maybe Anora, and then Monty. I don't think any of the other ones are probably in real for playoffs. I know
we
the
should
UK
be.
Guys love Beyond Possible, yeah.
We looked at the first few games. See, after we got 3-2 or 2-3, we were like, we should be 5-0. Like maybe 4-1 because Tag, they're very good. You know, you can't really predict how that game goes actually, but we have a good record against that. It's the old one-shot roster.
Yep.
And we always smash them on Nuke, and for some reason they just keep picking Nuke. So
they have a point to prove or something, and we're not sure.
It's like they're not gonna play us on anything until they played us on Nuke once. Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't know. So they pick Nuke again, obviously, and they lose it again. So but we should be about 4-1 this season, now 5-1. But yeah, it's been a rough season so far. But we've got 6 games left. We're looking to win all 6 games, 5 or 6 of games, and that should get a playoff run going. And happy days. We love the playoff run.
I got a question for you lot then. Obviously, because of the changes that you're making this season and whatever, would you be disappointed if you didn't make advanced playoffs? Like, is that something that, obviously, as a team, you're going to believe that you can make playoffs, and maybe the results in recent times would dictate that you definitely could, but do you think it's very necessary that this season is the time that you make advanced playoffs, or do you think there's not enough of an excuse there to say, like, do you know what, if we don't make it, we've made these roster changes, you know, like, it's kind of expected that it doesn't happen?
I wouldn't call it an excuse. I would say that's the reality. You know?
Of course. Yeah, I didn't mean it like it's.
No, I understand. No, I understand what you mean. It's just that the reality is we are 3-3. There's only 6 games left. You're going to have to win the vast majority of them. So you can, in advanced, you only play good teams, really. Like, I mean, maybe not good teams, but you're always playing hard games. So yeah, it's going to be tricky to get playoffs, but like we'd probably be capable of it. So I wouldn't say we'd be disappointed. Obviously, at the start of the season, we were aiming for it, and then obviously you make a roster change, so your expectations change. But I think we can still get it. Yeah, I think it's still very reasonable. Yeah.
I think as well, like kind of like a different angle would be like, if we don't get it, it's actually more probably beneficial not to play playoff games this season, because like we are going to like put our foot in the pedal and actually like grind and try and like get way better than we ever have before, like because we have the motivation. Like Temperate has light a spark in us. Do you know what I mean? And like I think we could get playoffs this season. We actually have quite easy draws because we lost early. But like I think like Dweg, you've been saying it for us for months. Like we like you cannot play 2 maps. You always have to have Mirage or Inferno. So like even if we get BO3s, like we're always going to be a map down. We're going to have to 2-1 every single game.
Yeah.
And I think at that level,
Aren't they? They're gonna do it every time.
And I think at that level, like you're just like you shouldn't really be there. Do you know what I mean? It's like we could be there, but like right now, I would prefer we just don't make the playoff run and just focus on like getting these maps way up to like scraps, because at the minute we've kind of like we're just lacking on them.
Yeah, some of the demons in advance are doing quite well. Skade, obviously, 6-0. Don't know what happens though. Every time they go to playoffs, they just dog it. But in the regular season, they're normally pretty good. LDLC, they're 6-2, so they're doing quite well. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, even I'm surprised.
Team 7 AM.
You made they're number 11th right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Is anyone doing really badly?
Us. We're doing really badly.
I know, everything seems pretty. It's still very early on. Like we'll probably have to address advance a bit later, but yeah, that's kind of it.
I think we can have a little chat about CCT.
We can do.
We've talked a lot about the structure of it in a previous show, so I guess this is literally just going to be about the results and stuff like that, right? So I think this is CCT Central Europe that we're going to be talking about here, Josh.
Yes. Yep.
Series 1, right, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And where are we? Group stage into Series 1. Mate, this is so confusing. The Liquipedia's just, they're never ending, honestly. Right, here we go. I'm in the group stage. Oh, it's playoffs. Oh my word, I'm behind.
The group stage and playoffs, they've got.
All right, so we can talk about the main Swiss and then move to playoffs a little bit. I'll bring it up at home for everyone to see now. There you go.
Yeah, I was having a look at this and I was just baffled.
Mate,
I was just like,
it's ridiculous. There's like 10 series. You get points for playing, and like basically, it's the more events you consistently do well in, the higher chance you have of making it through to like the playoff stage, which is studio events. Basically, you know, it's like ESL Pro Tour points or like the Blast points, right? But just on a tier 2 scale. That's where we're at right now. So, quick chat about the teams. Paloma, don't know what happened there. They went 3-1, got DQ'd or whatever. Like, yeah, cool. What's going on there? EC Kiv just going to walk in and take their slot. Yeah, no worries at all, fella. You know, at least this isn't ESEA where there's possible match fixing and whatever going on. But again, this is like a crazy, like bonkers event. I mean, Aura going 3-0, pretty cool to see. Monty as a team have looked pretty on fire.
That team, I think Kyron made a tweet about it. They called to the RMR and they'd been practicing for 5 days with a brand new lineup. And they're making playoffs. They're making RMR. They're going to LAN. I don't know what's going on with this team.
Don't know.
It's quite just heavily stacked. Like it's just So like
the one thing I was gonna say though, like if you look at the teams that we have in this list, right? This is meant to be a Central Europe event, right? Doesn't feel very Central Europe to me, right? And the big issue that I have with this, and I hope that it's been addressed internally with these guys, and it's a massive bone that I have to pick with this this way it's run, is that if we have specific events, as you can see, West Europe, Central Europe, North Europe, South Europe, and East Europe, right? So we have, 5 categories of Europe. If teams that aren't specifically in Central Europe that are playing in this event, does that mean that they're now bulked? Yeah, do they get to play in the other regions and get double?
They can.
So they get double the points, and so they have a higher chance.
As far as I'm aware, the only teams that have to be from Central Europe are the teams that qual. I think
Right.
everybody else can just be invited from wherever. I mean, that's why you got MIBR being invited to this.
Okay, cool. Yeah, great. Nice
This
event
is so
management.
confusing.
Yeah, again, like,
What?
I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, we can move on from the main Swiss stage. I don't think there's like too much to discuss here. I think you look at the teams. Maybe.
Mate, what about Kova? Maybe Kova are fucking dogging it since the player break. I don't
Yeah,
know what is
yeah,
happening
I
with
think-
them. To be fair,
There were two names that I wanted to bring up here. Was Kova and Eyeballers. I think Kova as a team, what you're doing, 1 and 3, that's
They've
just
been
terrific form.
they went 0-3 in Alyssa as well. I don't know what's
Yeah.
happening with them.
And I was going to say, speaking of Alyssa, Eyeballers currently 2-1. Obviously, they lost to ICB today, but they were 2-0 in the regional Swiss stage.
Yeah.
And then you go 0 and 3 in this against teams that you're playing in the Elisa, you know, like teams that are of very similar caliber, and you're going 0-3. It's super disappointing to see. I'll scroll down to the player stage so everyone can see at home. Copenhagen Flames, that new squad getting taken down by Dynamo Eklot. Like, yeah, cool. 1 win beat Aura pretty dominantly as well. Fine is getting banged by EC Kiev. Like, MIBR are beating Tricks. Like, what world are we in here where MIBR are picking up best of 3s? Blue Jays taking a map off Monty. I think that's quite respectable in that sense. But, like, mate, Skade losing to Falcons 2-0 after Skade dogging it against
Enterprise,
LDLC.
They
This is
won?
like, mate, this is like Better's paradise, honestly. It really is. It really is.
Someone's very happy out there right now.
Yeah, it is. It really is, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised about the Enterprise win too, because Eternal Fire, they made the RMR. They've actually looked pretty decent since bringing some of the old boys back. And yeah, I don't know, like pretty much every single best of 3 in this first round has been an upset. So I don't know who's gonna win it out at all.
What do you think guys think about the Copenhagen Flames roster, the new one?
We were talking about, so to clear it up, Regali does speak Danish, so it's not like
Yeah,
four
yeah,
Danes
yeah.
and, like one, non-Dane. Way too many IGLs for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why you've stuck TMB, Rouse, and Bird from Sky in the same team, because obviously we got to see quite a lot from Bird from Sky, and I'd keep him as a main caller.
Yeah.
I saw TMB on Mad Lions, mate. Like we were talking to their players after games. He was like, he's a mad caller, like gives us a lot of freedom, great in mid rounds, and then like taking that away from him as well. And then even Rouse, like I just don't think you got enough players that hit hard on this team.
Yeah. It's like they just drag out Regali and it's just like cross their fingers. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Like, is this even an upgrade from Fnatic Rising? Like, I think you might as well just stay there and hope that you can get a spot on the main team. Like, I don't know. Time will tell, but their results haven't been that fantastic. And losing to Dynamo Eklot, like I know Daitor's a fucking sick rifler, but realistically, with this sort of lineup, you should be banging them. And yeah, not to be. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we give them a few more months just to judge them. But yeah, I think from the outset alone, I haven't been a massive fan of the pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that roster just passes the eye test just straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Like just looking at the rules, you can already tell it's destined for failure, like, or never to reach
Yeah.
true potential. So
Like, where's like the young up and comers? Do you know what I mean? Like, where's the Kragen in there, or
Yeah.
one of the
That's a good
ecstatic
point.
guys,
Like,
or
a lot more
Dafu,
local, right,
or-
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like some guys, obviously they've been in Copenhagen Flames before, but throw a Buzz in there, or I don't know how low you want to go, but there are some real like good Danes that are up and coming, young, like hungry guys,
Yeah.
and you've just got a
I
bit of
think
the old guard in there.
My question is, right, like, I get maybe you want to stick to your Danish core or whatever. Like, what was stopping them from taking another European player, though? Obviously, we know that Regali speaks Danish, right? So I guess that's probably some of the appeal. But, like, outside of that, maybe we look at picking up a teammate of JL's, for example, over at X-Mad Lions, or do we look maybe a little bit further out on the free market, pull a Monty, right, and just bring together
Look how
5
well
very
they've done.
hard hitters? Exactly
Yeah.
that, man. I think you look at Monty and sort of proof is in the pudding that it doesn't matter. Like, maybe Copenhagen Flames want to keep it local because, of course, they are a Danish company and
Makes
whatever.
sense.
Like, of course, you want to be repping the flag a bit, but what's stopping you from pulling a Boros or, something like that out of the hat and just putting him in a roster like this to farm? Because I think you're not struggling in terms of brain cells on this roster. I think what you're struggling with mostly is, as you said, is like people that can shoot back. We know a lot of these players here, they can have their moments, but, maybe apart from Regali, who are you looking at this team to pop
Yeah,
off
I
and
dunno.
be the wow
Yeah.
factor in an official?
Well,
like, you just don't have that.
I think maybe we're putting a little bit too much expectation on the organization of Copenhagen Flames to like immediately build a new good roster, to be honest, because
maybe.
I don't really remember Copenhagen Flames before the Copenhagen Flames roster sort of sprang onto the scene and sort of
Yeah, it's
smashed
true.
everyone up at that major.
I'd even counter that though, Kieran, and say every single Copenhagen Flames lineup they have had in the past have
Yeah.
been at like the pits, man. They've been like right at the bottom. You know, no one's known, or they've
Yeah.
been at like the lower levels. Mate, you've got like 4 guys on that team, at least 3 of Rouse, Bird from Sky and Borup that have got big names behind them.
Yeah, well, actually, I would actually say that's part of the reason why probably the roster's not succeeding. They've probably gone against what that's given them so much success before. They've went a different route. They went for, instead of getting these players that people don't really know about and sort of having that hard period, they've gone, let's go get Regali, the best player on Fnatic Rising at that time. Let's go get Bird from Sky and these other players that have played for other rosters to try and have a good team already. But like the thing is, when you just pick players out and go, okay, you guys are a team now, it's, even if they're all good players, it's like it can be very hard. It can be very hard for a very long period of time. Like I don't mean to throw shade, but we saw it with Coalesce, for example. They just went, right, give us all these good players, which they very much were, and go, you're a team now. Go and play top 100 teams and beat them regularly. And you're like, I mean, even harder for Copenhagen Flames, who are saying go beat top 50 teams regularly, and like that
the
is
expectations high off the back.
exactly
already,
the expectations high, and the standard has to be high, and they haven't got the right players. The acquisitions not right already. You can see just looking at the roster that it's not right. So maybe they got them in knowing that, and maybe they'll move players around. Plus, Copenhagen Flames isn't necessarily a huge organization that can throw money around and go give us you and give us you, right?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good roster of 5 very experienced players. So maybe just give them a little bit of time and see if they can work something out, or maybe a roster change here or there, and then by top 30 solid again, and then maybe challenging for spots at majors again. But at the moment, it certainly looks a bit strange.
Anytime I've spoken to anyone about the Copenhagen Flames roster, like I always just get like the response like, why did they not just get a static, just the entire team?
Yeah,
like everyone always says this, like that roster was doing
that would
well.
have made a lot more sense than what they've gone with. Like get ecstatic and then maybe add a Regali or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well, that pretty much brushes off that event. Maybe once the playoffs are done, Ryan, we can like look back
revisit and whatever. Yeah.
I would say I think Force will win that event pretty comfortably in the end.
4's 1 win, mate. That is a banging game. I'm looking forward to watching that one.
I'll take Force and 2-0. I'm pretty sure Force will smash that event. They'll beat 1 win. They'll beat anyone they come against. They're better than everyone there.
Maybe they need you guys in there.
Well, maybe we're in there. Maybe that's a different story. Someone else would win, not us, not them, because we'd put them out, and then someone else would beat us.
Rallen comes back from the grave.
Yeah. Copenhagen Flames sub Rallen in win the event.
Should we touch on Beyond them, Ryan? That's like the last one, isn't it?
Okay, I was going to say we move on to roster changes, but that's a decent shout that we talk about the.
I did love the interview. I don't know who it was from one of the K10 members about like playing ITV in the first game. It was Moshi, right? Did I see that on Twitter? And he was like,
yeah,
"Oh, we might get banged, but like we're just hoping for a good time." I was like, "Oh, all right, you know, set the expectations pretty well."
I mean, he's not wrong, is he? It's going to be pretty difficult. Of course, for those at home maybe that don't know, we have ourselves a lovely little event, UK circuit, doing us wonders once more, bringing together $2,000 this time. Was it $2,000 last time as well?
I think it was, yeah.
Okay, $2,000 again. Like I say it like
Yay.
it's a chump change, but we appreciate it's an online event. You know, everyone's chilling, having a good time. More importantly, it's HLTV for all of it, and on top of that as well, we obviously have. You know, the points is the main thing for this. The prize money, I think, comes second for teams in this sort of range. You know, for everyone actually that's invited, like, this is massive. This is a really good chance. I'll bring it up for everyone at home to see. Just the HLTV page. There's nothing really we need to delve into too much. So what I will ask for everyone at home, well, maybe not everyone at home, but for you guys as well to jump in on, I'm going to ask how you think this bracket goes. Out of the first 4 opening matchups and then the 2 semi-finals, you don't need to give me who wins the entire event, because I think that would be quite interesting to see, obviously, it pan out on the server. But tell me how this bracket pans out.
Under the Breach, Blackhand, Tokyo. 1 pin. Tokyo versus 1 pin, Tokyo win, and then Tokyo win the entire event. Smooth is just too good. GG. Done.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to look past the old Smuya over there, like, unfortunately for everyone else. But maybe they'll actually, if we can overcome them, then I back us to win this. But if not, then I would be very much looking forward to the final to see just to see what happens, just a pure spectacle. Like, honest to God,
it'd be so fun to see like Smuya versus Into the Breach. Like,
it would be such a
just...
treat. It would be such a treat. Like, so it's an interesting one because obviously we really want to win, but we want to see that final as well. So,
Both are good.
Yeah,
No.
oh, but it's a good point actually. If we win, yay, happy for us. We might have an event, cool. But if we lose, then we'll get to see a good final, hopefully. So, looking forward to it.
Whoa, okay, not sure if you just seen. Beve's right. Cypher can't play either. He got his face it banned for using a Smurf account. So ITB minus Kai plus standing, and the standing's Wolfie for ITB.
What?
Boom! Mic drop. That changes everything. Yeah, I didn't even know that. Cheers, Beve, for the heads up in the chat. There you go. That's why I keep it open.
Is that allowed? Because 1 pin are already in this event.
Well, they've got Christian as a sign up, and Wolfie's playing in the main event, so it's probably done and dusted.
Oh, to be fair, 1 pin were invited. They didn't qual, so maybe if they qual, it might have been a different story. To be fair, yeah. Okay, no, that should be okay.
It's good that they're on the other side of the bracket and only meet each other in the final, though, because if they were playing each other like second round in the semis, like Wolfie probably knows everything. That'd be quite difficult. Well, that's crazy. This event's just crazy. Does it mean, man, this week's just been crazy? Do you mean like who knows what's going to happen this week? K10 won the event. It's going to happen.
Yeah, K10 miracle run. Who's on the K10 roster?
Moshi.
Just Moshi. Moshi's gonna get them all in a 1v5. He's gonna kill Rusty. He's gonna kill Draken. Cypher's not playing. It doesn't matter. Wolfie's still getting owned. Adam's gonna get it in double, all in a 1v5. Man, Moshi. Do you know as well? Here's a funny story. Moshi kept owning Seb when he was in the roster when we played against Moshi. Like Moshi is his like an arch nemesis, like his bogeyman. Seb's like the supremely calm aimer. Like a robot, right? Like no problem, kill everyone, no problem, right? Moshi, shaky aim. It's like, oh, what's going on? I can't kill him. It's like the guy's too good, so that's why it's it's just Moshi against their whole team there. Clearly, he's gonna just. That's enough,
Moshi's in the Twitch chat and he said, "Yeah, it's gonna happen." So.
Exactly, man.
I think the Black and 7 AM game though. I think that's probably the best game. That could probably happen, like, because that's.
Is that before North America?
Yeah, that's.
Gone yet,
No, that's tomorrow.
Next week they go to Monday.
Okay,
I think they go
It'll
to
be a
America.
good tester.
It will be, yeah. Who wins Philadelphia? Blackhand or 7 AM? Be like a teaser.
In the final, the UK teams play together in the final. Apex dumped out, no problem. Dumped out, easy noobs. You know what I mean? No chance against the UK might of the main scene and advanced scene. Sorry, 7 AM are obviously in advanced.
Oh, Flame coming out from the big biscuit already. Overconfident in this event. Thinks he's going to roll the lot. Nah. Yeah, this will be pretty interesting. I can't wait to see this event pan out.
Are you streaming any of the games, Ryan?
Nah, man. I'm simply here to enjoy the Counter-Strike in front of me. I'm not here to cast it. So yeah, it'll be a good laugh. Definitely see how that one goes on and whatever. 4 best of 3s tomorrow. 3 best of 3s on Sunday. Obviously, that's the schedule of the game, not the teams. But yeah, basically single elimination bracket, best of 3s all the way through. Good HLTV points in it. More importantly, a good laugh for the UK scene. And
they have how many of these a year, by the way?
3 a year.
3 a year. Okay.
It's 3 or 4, I want to say.
There are 4 seasons, so.
Yeah, but you look at ESL Prem. They only do 3 a year, don't they? So.
They're just gonna skip which one are they skipping? They've done spring and summer. Well, they're just gonna skip autumn.
They skip autumn, don't they? Because they have fall. Is it fall? I don't know. Now I'm gonna have to Google in. Anyway, I think that's us done with the events, right? We're gonna move on to roster changes. Josh, we'll have a little talk about those as I figure out what the shout is with ESL Prem. Josh, where do we start with the roster changes?
Yeah, so the first one, GTZ
ETZ
Bulls.
Bulls, yeah.
Yeah,
the
they've
Bulls.
changed their name to GTZ Esports as well. Like they're not the Bulls anymore.
They're not the Bulls anymore, really?
Nah, they've rebranded.
No, say it's not
Um,
so.
So I know you guys played them in the past.
That's
Yeah.
right. We know
We
them
own them.
well. We know them well.
They've got a brand new lineup. They've got Rafax, No PJ, and Linko, which is like the known guys in the Portuguese scene. A couple that I'm not too familiar with. I think they're playing in advance, so brand new lineup for them. What do you guys think about the Some Pious pickup? Like obviously Valde went as well. I don't know if Valde is really tier 2, but Ents picking up like Some Pious.
The Pious is unbelievable. I've watched so many. He was just like all of a sudden unreal. Like he was never one of these uppers that I would watch like as much as any other. But then like I started watching him and he's just like, oh my god, this guy is so quick. Like he's just everything he does is just so perfect. It's just I think that's a really big pickup. Like I think he's just gonna he's just gonna own it for them. I think. I think it was a good change, to be honest, because it was Hades. Yeah, like everyone says, like he's good, but he just can't get them over the line, type of thing. So I think, like some passes. I think it's a bit strange though. Like they go like movie star writers were just like they won a few events there. They had a good run in Katowice, and like I feel like it was maybe the wrong time to leave the team. Maybe I'm not sure because like I feel like they're having so much success, and then now he's left, and now that team didn't even make the Ormor.
Yeah.
And like I don't know.
Even for Ents, like I'm kind of surprised. Like you've just finally reached like a top tier 1 level, and then obviously if Spinks is going, like there's not really much you could do about that. But to change another roster, when to be fair, like I don't think Ents has had this sort of level of success with the international lineup at all, like since they were Finns. So we'll see what happens there. Imperial, I know that they're playing down under in Melbourne at the moment. FNX is going to coaching. And they brought in Cello, so
yeah,
a lot of money being pumped into that
FNX is just cashing a juicy paycheck. That's what I'm saying, man.
it's
Turns
living
up
off
as a
that.
player, like literally rocks up for a few months, plays in a few events. He's like, "Yep, that's me done. I'm coaching now." And yeah, nice paycheck for him. Congratulations.
I have no idea what's going on with some of those Brazilian rosters, to be honest. I mean, ever since that SK team sort of like was dethroned from #1, it's just been like constant.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going on what Brazilian roster. It's just like, yeah, we'll have you, yeah, whatever. See you later. Flipping, who's coming to drop? Never heard of him. Okay, bring him in. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like all the rosters were just like, yeah, we'll just change players and get whoever and. It's really weird, like swapping players, going back to old players, really weird.
K23 picking up Finnegan. It's a bit of a shame actually, because I felt like Simon K23 had like a bit of a legacy behind them with the old guys. Like Neelan was there for a very long time, Norbert was there for a very long time, and then it was sort of like the rebuilding phase. You brought in Mo and Adren for a bit, and now it's just a brand new looking lineup.
Yeah.
It's got no one. Obviously, Perfecto's on Na'Vi. Ramzik Boss, I have no idea where he is. But it's like Exy Power, a few of those guys. Fame, even he left. But they picked up Finnegan. I think he was the IGL of a Sparta, which was like Dima, Sofix, Degstar, and they were pretty good in 2020. So we'll see if like they can get a bit of a boost, because I don't think they've found as much success as they have in previous times. Have you seen this new Bp5 lineup? It's always weird with those guys because like it's Hungarian for like a bit, and then they go EU, and then goes back to Hungarian. They picked up Esperanto, Keen, and Chill. I think Chill played on Nemega. Keen was most recently on that Latvian team, Woolsung IGLing, and then Esperanto, I don't know, still been about.
Yeah.
Is Kane fully on the roster?
Yeah,
he signed.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that for Christers. That's really good.
You see, for Kane, yeah. So like Kane was the guy that like I played like my proper first team with. So like me and Kane know each other very well, and like we still talk to each other. Like, so I think it's a good pickup. Like it's Esperanto. That's a bit of a strange one. He seems to like bounce between rosters. And then he seems to disappear for a few months, and then he's back. And then wasn't he in Coalesce, or he was joining Coalesce at one point or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was very strange. But Budapest, they've always been like, they've never really went like up and beyond. Do you know what I mean? They've always been, they've always been top 50, 60, 70, do you mean? But like they've not, like hopefully this is like them now like putting in like all the money in. This is the best we can get. Now let's go top 30 and then see what happens type of thing. So,
Yeah.
but like for Keen, like I hope the best for him, like guys, unbelievable.
More academy news other than Volt winning the entire thing.
Way up, Seb!
Mal's bench BMAS and promote Xertion from Mal's academy. So you've now got 3 academy players in the main team. Feels like they just keep getting promoted. I don't know what's happening over there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Mouse have got a bit lazy regarding like their main roster. I mean, I'm not saying these people aren't ready for the tier 1 scene. Don't get me wrong. Like the people they're promoting are very good players, but it's almost as if like, okay, they know they've got a good project going on and they can go in instead of going and acquiring a player or maybe even scouting a player.
Yeah.
Seems like they're sort of, and maybe lazy is a bit harsh, but it feels like that because obviously Mouse used to be, you know, fighting for championships as far as I'm concerned. Like there's been periods of times where Mouse rosters with Chris J and stuff like this are like knocking teams out in best of 3s. They're upsetting these top teams. They're in these events. They're live. But for some reason, it's like they're not really interested in having that sort of effect anymore. For me, it's almost like we're happy being where we are, and maybe, you know, we'll just be that team that sells our players and makes a profit or something. I think they've sort of not settled in for that mode for now, at least.
Yeah. ESEA Kiev, another team that I think the last few months has actually been doing really well. I was quite excited to hear that Flarich came back. Obviously, a guy that played on like Hellraisers, Prosto, played at like CIS Minors, Majors. He lasted 33 days on that team before getting kicked. And they added Kane back, that obviously is like coached Na'Vi and Gambit and that lot. And they brought in Kev from Iron Branch. Have you guys seen this guy? He's unreal.
Yeah, we played against them a good bit.
Few times.
So we'll see what they're made of, because again, I don't think many people knew who they were last year or even the year before, even though their core's been together for like years. But they're starting to find quite a bit of success. So we'll see if that change helps them out at all. What do you think about the finest one, Ryan? Hades coming in for Anarkez.
I think it's pretty cool. Like, it's a shame because I've always praised Anarkez as a good player. And I think like a lot of people in tier 2 will understand like he's actually a really respectable player. At the same time, I mean, it's a win-win, isn't it, for finest? Like, you get rid of one person, but you get a massive improvement in terms of experience. And I mean, it's not like finest struggle with teams or with players that have experience, but it's like recent experience, right? Like, sure, they had the Pinnacle Championship run, but outside of that, like they have nothing in person. And so maybe is that next push needed to just send them to that next level? And is this the change that's needed? Yeah. I mean, again, it would have been nice to see this roster stick together a little bit more, because I think actually there was a decent chance they do well with it. But I don't know. I think it's good for the lads on finest. I think it's good for finest as a brand. For Anarkez as well, like, I think it's a bit late for him to slot into a team, but no doubt, like, post-major, when the shuffles inevitably happen as well, right? Like, he could land himself a pretty good opportunity. Maybe is there a chance for him to get promoted to tier 1? I think that's a bit of a steep jump for him. Yeah, but the conversation definitely could be there for him to go to a top 20, 25 team and just, you know, nest there for a bit and just see what he's capable of.
I don't know. I think that's a bit too high. Even
you reckon?
Like, look, yeah.
I think he's really, really solid, man. I think he's slept on a lot.
Where's he proved it? Like, that's the thing with finest, is I would have liked to have seen the lineup stay until they get more LAN opportunities. Like, you can't look at this and say, oh, we're bringing Hades in for LAN. You fucking played the Pinnacle Cup Championship, and what else? Like, they've been a team that does online stuff for the last few years. Like, they're not getting LAN opportunities like some of the other teams are. Yeah, I don't know. Like, he could probably even go CIS, because obviously he does speak Russian too. So it could be an opportunity.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so he speaks Israeli, Russian, and English. So, and he can IGL too, and AWP. So
that's massive. Yeah,
he's got quite a few like bonuses to try and get him signed.
Sounds like he's sweet, to be honest.
Yeah, one thing I did want to bring up, Josh, in that regard, talking about Anarkez as a player. He was the 3rd highest rated player in the Pinnacle Cup Championship. So I just, you know, again, that's like one tournament. I know it's a LAN event and it's not the biggest one of the lot, but I just thought I'd bring it up that, you know, he was the 3rd highest rated player. Like, he had a pretty decent event. So me, honestly, in my opinion, like, he's not a bad choice. He really isn't a bad choice. I think he's overlooked a lot by a lot of people in the space. Maybe I'm smoking something good. I don't know.
So
but
why do you think they made the decision to replace him with Hades then?
I
No
I,
idea.
I think as an org, like, you got to take Hades over an arTisT, man. Like, I think
Israeli org,
I
though.
think I think the publicity that Hades brings, his experience as a player, and I think if you compare him to an arTisT in sort of pound for pound, I don't know. Hades was never the flashiest player, but that's because he's playing in tier 1, and arTisT is doing things in tier 2. And if you look at maybe the history of Finest as a team, they haven't, like, he's got a 1.25 over the last 3 months, but look at the teams and the players he's playing against. Like, he's having a really good run, but, like, come on, man. Like, we've got to be I think you've got to have a bigger scope here for an arTisT in terms of, like, the teams he's playing against.
Well,
you look at the recent matches.
They've got money
like,
as well.
You look at the recent matches, like, his 2 most recent games were against X and Forward. And then you've got, like, a loss to Eyeballers in there. And, I mean, admittedly, ESEA Challenge League was pretty rough for them. They beat Eklot. Obviously, some of that is contributing to he played for Israel in the European Championships as well. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not saying an arTisT is a bad player. I think he can do really well in Tier 2 still. I just think if you compare stats for stats, sure, Hades doesn't look like an upgrade, but you've got to consider the level of teams that they're playing against as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that Hades guy, I always said about him whenever he gets brought up that he's the best Faceit player ever, by the way. Like, yeah, if you ever come up against him, like, you just just make your peace that Elo's gone. And it belongs to him. And that's it. You're in for a hard game, basically. You know, that guy's too good in Faceit. Like, it's honestly too good.
A couple of new Polish lineups as well. I mean, what
chuck 'em
surprises
in at
that's
the
every
end.
lineup. It's every episode, isn't it? You've got Milky that was playing on that Gucci Gaming Academy team. He's finally actually got a lineup with Blacktier and Mouse. So you got like a couple of known names in there. Axio, I think he was most recently on AGO. AGO build their lineup again, and yet they bring back like 3 of their players. Like, they dropped everyone and then brought them all back.
This is like the Amiga rebuild.
It full is, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. But they've got like Snatchy, Jedcar, Furlan, PHR. I don't know. Like, it's another rebuild. And then obviously you've got that Anora team. That's a full org as well, rather than just like a mixed team or like playing under just a mixed banner. Obviously, Railway, Chiron, Lackey, Sugar, Delusion, Starx as a coach, and then they've got an assistant coach as well. We'll see them at the RMR. Wolfie taking a break on 1pin. I think we spoke about that a little bit earlier on. We'll see how long he takes a break for. Hopefully, getting back in the server.
Not that long if he's playing this event this weekend.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Break over, it looks like.
He's joining ITB. Replacing Kai. Unlucky.
Unlucky.
And then, other than that, Castle, the head coach of Masonic, you know, everyone was a bit surprised that he left Masonic. He's gone over to Astralis Talent now. Whether that's an upgrade or not for him, it might be in a career, you know, going from a Masonic, which is a part-time team, to a full-time talent scout and trying to help them progress further forward. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got.
What about our roster changes?
Do we want to talk about them?
I thought you might ask.
Go on then, bring it on.
Well,
what's happening?
I think the roster as it stands, well, it's a good question, isn't it? No, the roster as it stands is Tom, Mattis, Callum, Jack, and it will be Kirk. Tadpole will be joining.
Do you want to give us aliases for everyone?
Sorry, yeah. Tadpole is joining the roster for Mad. Mad has stepped down from the roster, or not stepped down. He's been removed from the roster, and Tadpole will be replacing him. So that's the roster we'll be playing with. Just a few words on James on Mad. I'll use his alias. Mad's a good player, and it's no doubt in our mind that he will be a good player in another team. It's just that it wasn't working in this team, and that's clear from his performance in our team and teams that he's played in. You know, because when we watched him, we're like, this guy's a good player. You can see in his demos when he played for the old Echo team that he was one of their better players, and he had good stats, and he just couldn't replicate that in our team, and that's not necessarily his fault. I would say that our complacency was probably a key factor that we talked about. We had a hard look in the mirror. So after the LAN, it was just like we needed to make a change because it's such a bad result where like you're sort of forced to act. When things get so bad, you're now in a place where you have to act. So unfortunately for James, he was the one that was cut. But I have a very confidence that he'll be back playing in another great team in the UK and show why he's a good player and why we even decided that we wanted to play with him in the first place. Not that it was a whole period of bad. We did go to Austria and win a LAN, so we have some good memories hopefully. But yeah, no, that's the roster. Kirk will be joining us, Tadpole, after his performances in the last few days, and how the team has been playing. It's been quite stark. So it would be quite bad of us, should I say, to ignore that and look somewhere else when it's right there in front of us. So that's what we'll be doing. Yeah.
Any coaching changes?
Right. I'll
Yeah.
remember that.
Don't tell him yet.
So it's getting cold after. Don't let Mattis do it again.
Right, that's got to be tier 2 talk first and last, that like a roster change is announced on the broadcast. I mean, I think, even a blind person could see that was going to happen, right? But like it was all speculation until that point. So there you go. Heard it from the fountain himself. The man said his piece. It's happening. So that's pretty cool to see. As I said, though, kind of expected, right? So not the end of the world, but nice to see that young Kirk is back. I do like my Kirk, so nice.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot more of him fragging out and playing his absolute best because he always did that in our roster. So hopefully he can continue that in form for us and we can reach new heights.
The dream. Anything else we want to add here, Josh, or are we done?
Pretty much all wrapped up. Everyone go and check out the Beyond event that starts tomorrow and for the next couple of days.
Yeah, watch the Eco lads play. Thank you, gents, by the way, for joining us. It's a pleasure as always to have you.
Yep.
Yeah, nice to have you back, our first returning guest, and went well. A roster change announcement at the end as well. We love that, Josh. We love that.
We love it.
Anything on the piano while we wrap up?
Yeah, Tom, go ahead.
Is it on?
Oh no, don't even worry. We
It
tried it.
wasn't
We
even
tried it
commentary.
before.
It
We
doesn't
couldn't
work.
hear it before.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. They're pulling your leg, mate. They're having it. Thank you, gents, so much for joining us, and thank you everyone at home for watching and whatever the support is appreciated. Until next time, though, that's just done here to talk. Until then, have a great evening and see you all next time. Bye bye.